Hi students, welcome to Vidyalakshmi YouTube channel. So today we are going to discuss a very important topic in the concern of NEET as well as +1 biology that we can call control and coordination in animals by hormones. Okay. So first of all we can see what is meant by control and coordination. So we have different types of organs in our body. Okay, different types of organ systems in our body. So all the organ systems are being coordinated by various organ systems. So all these organ systems are being coordinated by nervous system and hormones. Okay, so that is for better functioning the coordination is going to be done. Okay, so that is called control and coordination. So today we are going to discuss about control and coordination in human beings. Okay, so first of all, before to start this, control and coordination in human beings is done by two important organ systems. First one we can consider as by nervous system. Coordination is done by nervous system. Okay, and the second one is called coordination, which is done by hormones. Okay, so these are the two important components which can bring coordination in human beings in our body. Okay, so why the coordination is essential is coordination is very essential to bring various coordination for better functioning among organ systems. Okay, so coordination in our body is brought by nervous system as well as hormones. Okay, so now today we are going to discuss about hormones, how they function and what are the different types of hormones secreted in our body which can bring coordination among various organs of body. Okay, so first of all you can say about hormones. Okay, so hormones can be defined as these are the chemicals or chemical substances. Hormones are the chemicals or the chemical substances which are produced by a specific glands are called endocrine glands. Endocrine glands. Okay, so hormones are the specific chemical substances which are secreted by endocrine glands. Okay, so the hormones which are secreted by endocrine glands directly released into the blood. Okay, so these hormones they are directly released into the blood. Directly they are released into blood. Okay, and through blood circulation. So after the direct releasing of hormones into the blood, through blood circulation, these hormones they can reach us to target tissues. Very important. Target tissues. Okay, so hormones are secreted by endocrine glands which are directly released in the blood. So through blood circulation they can reach us to target tissues where the hormone will function. Okay, so that is the production, formation and releasing of hormones and the reaching of hormones to the target tissues. Okay, so hormones are the chemicals or chemical substances which are produced by endocrine glands. So endocrine glands we can also call as ductless glands. Ductless glands. Okay, so within our body we have two types of glands. One is called duct glands and the other one is called ductless glands. So we have two types of glands one in our body, that is called, first one is called endocrine glands and second one is called exocrine glands. Endocrine and exocrine glands. Okay, so these endocrine glands are also called ductless glands. Ductless. Okay, so the ductless in the sense they do not have any specific devices to stop. Okay, so without any interruption, without any stoppage, hormones directly they can reach us to target tissues. That's why endocrine glands are specific glands which are useful to secrete hormones. Okay, next one is exocrine glands. They are also called duct glands. Duct glands. Okay, so ducts means nothing but here there are specific devices for the stoppage of the hormones. So they can stop the transportation of hormones to the target tissues. So that's what majority of the hormones are going to be secreted by endocrine glands. Why? Because the reason here is these hormones they are secreted by endocrine glands and without interruption these hormones they can reach us to target tissues. So that's what endocrine glands maximum they are going to be secreted by endocrine glands, maximum they are secreting the hormones. Okay, so that is the reason. Now we can see here hormones are the chemical substances which are secreted by endocrine glands directly released into the blood. Directly released into the blood. So within the blood we have different types of cells, red blood cells, white blood cells, blood platelets, everything. So through red blood cells these hormones they can reach us to target tissues. Okay, so that is the function of red blood cells. Okay, so that is the hormones. And they can reach us to target tissues. So here target tissue can be defined as it is a specific tissue. Target tissue can be defined as it is a specific tissue. It is a specific tissue at which hormone acts. That is called target tissue. So hormones are secreted by endocrine glands, directly released into the blood, and they can reach us to target tissues through blood circulation. Okay. So target tissues in the sense the tissues at which particularly hormone acts, that is called target tissues. Okay. Yes. Next we can see. Yes, next you can see here two types of glands already just we have discussed now, endocrine glands and exocrine glands. Okay. So endocrine glands we can also call as ductless glands. Endocrine glands you can also call as ductless glands. Okay. So secretion of hormones is done most probably endocrine glands, which are directly released into the blood. So without any interruption, they can reach us to target tissues through blood circulation. That's what endocrine glands are also called ductless glands. There is no stoppage of transportation of hormones. Next hormone is called exocrine glands. Okay. So they are also called duct glands. Okay. They cannot secrete any hormone because they can stop the transportation of hormones. Okay. So that's what majority of the hormones are going to be secreted only by endocrine glands. Okay. So that is the importance of endocrine glands. Okay. So the next we are going to see here is called yes, the next we are going to see here, this is about a specific importance of a specific gland in our body, that is called pituitary gland. Okay. So pituitary gland is also called master gland of the body. Very, very important. Okay. Pituitary gland is also called master gland of the body. Why it is called the master gland of the body? Because this pituitary gland is useful to secrete various hormones in our body. Okay. So this pituitary gland is useful to secrete various hormones in our body. At the same time, this pituitary gland is useful to control the secretion of various hormones. Yes. To control the various hormones. Okay. So pituitary gland we can also call master gland of the body, which is useful to secrete various hormones, and the secretion of these hormones from various organs of our body is being controlled by pituitary gland. That's why pituitary gland we can also call as master gland. A very, very important master gland of the body is called pituitary gland. Okay. So now we can see here which type of glands are present in pituitary gland. So these include adrenal cortex, which is present near to the kidneys. Next one is ACTH, adrenocorticotrophic hormone. It is a specific hormone. Next one is prolactin oxytocin, which is produced by breast. Okay. Next one is ADH, antidiuretic hormone. So this antidiuretic hormone we can also call as vasopressin, which is secreted from kidney. Okay. So one by one you can see here, otherwise we can see the importance of hormones. Next one is ovary. So ovary of females and testes of males. So ovary of females, they used to secrete two hormones, that is called estrogen and progesterone. Testes of males, they used to secrete only one hormone, is called testosterone hormone. Okay. So ovary, they used to secrete two hormones called estrogen and progesterone. Okay. Whereas testes are useful to secrete hormone is called testosterone. Okay. Next one, thyroid gland, which is present on the neck region. Which is present near to our neck region. So this thyroid gland is responsible to produce hormone is called thyroxine hormone. Okay. Next one is muscles, bones, they used to secrete the hormone, that is called GH, that is called growth hormone. Okay. Next one is muscles of our body, they used to secrete muscles as well as skin of our body, they used to secrete a specific hormone that we can call as melatonin hormone. Okay. So these are the different types of hormones which are going to be secreted by pituitary gland. So all the hormonal secretion from pituitary gland is being controlled by pituitary gland. Okay, so the secretion of all these hormones is being controlled by pituitary gland. Okay, and the synthesis of all these hormones is under the control of pituitary gland. That's what pituitary gland we can call as master gland of the body. So that is the importance of pituitary gland. Okay, so next we are going to see here one by one hormone and target tissue and function. Okay, so first of all we can see here the hormone. First hormone we can call as growth hormone. Yes, first of all you can say about growth hormone. Okay, so as of you know, growth hormone is a specific hormone which is going to be produced by pituitary gland. Growth hormone is going to be secreted by pituitary gland. Okay, and the main function of this growth hormone is it particularly acts all cells of our body. Every cell, in every cell of our body, this growth hormone will act. Okay, and the main function is it stimulates the growth of repair of tissue, repairing. So tissue repair system. So it is useful to stimulate the growth. Okay, so we can see some of the persons are too short and some of the persons are too long. So that variation is because of the growth hormone. Okay, so the growth hormone which is secreted by pituitary gland is useful to stimulate growth and repair of various tissues of our body. So that is the importance of growth hormone. Next one, two conditions. If growth hormone is secreted properly, we can see normal growth. If growth hormone is secreted a maximum too heavy, then we can see the persons is called too tall persons, too tall. Okay, heavy, too tall persons. That condition at which growth hormone is secreted maximum, that condition is called gigantism. Gigantism. So gigantism is the condition at which excess growth hormone is going to be secreted. That leads to increasing height, too tall persons. That is considered as, that condition we can call gigantism. Okay, and one more condition is if growth hormone secretion is very less. If growth hormone secretion is very less, we can see too short persons. That condition is called dwarfism. So here in gigantism, growth hormone secretion is more. Growth hormone secretion is more. In dwarfism, growth hormone secretion is very less. Okay, so if growth hormone secretion is more, we can see the condition is called gigantism. If growth hormone secretion is less, we can see the condition is called dwarfism. Okay, so this is one of the example of hormone which is secreted from pituitary gland, that is called growth hormone. Okay, and moreover this growth hormone secretion is maximum during adolescence period. Okay, that means as of adolescence period from 13 to 19 years. So growth hormone secretion is maximum to up to 19 years. So after 19 years almost the growth hormone secretion will be stopped. Okay, so that is about growth hormone. Next we can see thyroid actions. Okay, thyroid action. So as of thyroid gland, so it is going to be present near to the neck region. Okay, and this thyroid gland which is present in neck region, they used to secrete a specific hormone. So thyroid gland which is present in the neck region, they used to secrete a specific hormone that is called thyroxine hormone. Thyroxine hormone. Okay, so thyroid gland which is present in the neck region, they used to secrete hormone is called thyroxine hormone. Okay, and next one is for thyroid gland formation. For thyroid gland formation, iodine is essential. Iodine. Okay, for proper thyroid gland formation, iodine is the essential mineral is required. Okay, suppose if we can't take sufficient quantity of iodine, okay, if we can't take sufficient quantity of iodine, that may leads to enlargement of neck region. Enlargement, that we can also call as swelling of neck region. So simply we can call swelling general terminology. In medical terminology we can call the swelling as called as eczema. Okay, eczema. So this enlarging of neck region, it leads to the formation of enlarging neck region, that we can call as goiter or simple goiter. Or simple goiter. Okay, so goiter or simple goiter is an abnormality which is going to be formed by without proper taking of a balanced diet with iodine. So if you can't take proper iodine, that leads to the enlarging of neck region. That condition we can call as swelling or eczema. That leads to the formation of goiter or simple goiter disease. Okay, so that's what if we are going to take iodine in the form of iodized salt. Okay, so next one, importance of iodine. So iodine is very important mineral which is required for the thyroxine hormone formation. Thyroxine. So just now I told thyroid gland in our body, it is responsible to produce thyroxine hormone. So the main function of this thyroxine is it regulates the carbohydrates, lipids and protein metabolism of our body. So our body requires carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, everything. So in the form of, we are taking in the form of balanced diet. Okay. So this proteins metabolism, carbohydrates and lipid metabolism, all these are going to be influenced by thyroxine hormone. So if you can take proper iodine as a mineral in the form of iodized salt, proper thyroxine will be secreted and automatically the carbohydrate metabolism, lipid metabolism and protein metabolism is under our control. Okay. If we can't take proper iodine, that leads to improper metabolic activities of carbohydrates, lipids and proteins, then that leads to the formation of different types of deficiency diseases. Okay. So that's what thyroid gland and thyroxine formation we need to take iodized salt. Just now I told you. Okay. Next one, deficiency of iodine. So deficiency of iodine, just now I told, it leads to the enlarging of neck region. That we can call swelling. That we can also call as eczema. So that condition we can call as goiter or simple goiter. Okay. So this is about thyroxine hormone. Okay. Next we are going to see the next hormone is called parathyroid gland. Parathyroid gland. Okay. Next we are going to see about parathyroid gland. Okay. So parathyroid gland, next one. So this is also one of the important gland which is present just below the thyroid gland. So up to now we have discussed about thyroid gland. Okay. So just below the thyroid gland we have parathyroid gland. Okay. So this parathyroid gland, it is responsible to secrete a hormone is called parathormone. Parathormone. Okay. So parathormone is the specific hormone which is secreted by parathyroid gland, which is located just below the thyroid gland near to the neck region. Okay. So this parathormone is going to be secreted, and the main function of parathormone is it regulates blood calcium level. Very, very important. Calcium level. Okay. So as of you know, calcium is one of the essential mineral required for our body for the formation of strong bones as well as teeth. Okay. So calcium is one of the essential important mineral to our body which is required for the formation of strong bones as well as teeth. So if we can take a proper sufficient quantity of calcium, we can get proper bones, teeth formation like that. But we have one more disadvantage. If we can take excess calcium, if we can take excess calcium, this excess calcium leads to the formation of calculi. It leads to the formation of calculi. So this calculi leads to the formation of kidney stones. Okay. So if kidney stones has been increased, that leads to, we can call that condition we can call as renal failure, kidney failure. Okay. So that's what we need to take a calcium or what are the mineral in only the sufficient quantity. We should not take excess quantity. Okay. So this is about parathormone hormone. So parathormone hormone is going to be secreted from parathyroid gland which is located just below the thyroid gland. Okay. And the main function of this parathormone is it is going to be useful to regulate blood calcium level in our body. Okay. So this calcium is very important for the formation of strong bones and teeth. So if we can take excess calcium, that leads to the formation of calculi. Finally, that leads to renal failure or kidney failure. Okay. So this is one of the hormone. Next one is thymus gland. Okay. So thymus is very important gland which is located in lower limbs. Lower limbs means nothing but legs. Okay. So this thymus, they used to secrete hormone is called thymosin hormone. Thymosin. Okay. So thymus is useful to secrete hormone is called thymosin hormone. So this thymus is located within the lower limbs, legs. Okay. So it is useful to secrete hormone is called thymosin hormone, and this thymosin hormone is essential for T cells, okay, T cells development. So here T cells we can call as thymus cells. Thymus cells. Okay. So these thymus cells are very important. Thymus cells are very, very important in developing of immunity. Okay. So immunity in the sense we can get a specific immunity after our childbirth or after vaccination. So whatever it may be, we can get immunity. So this immunity from our childhood is going to be generated only because of thymus cells. Okay. So this immunity is useful to fight against the pathogens. Okay. So that's what the development of immunity, these thymus cells are very, very important. Okay. So this is about thymosin hormone. Okay. Next one is prolactin hormone, very, very important, prolactin. Okay. So prolactin hormone is mainly formed, it is going to be mainly secreted from the breast of the mother, breast of the females of the mother, females of our mother. Okay. So this prolactin hormone, it is going to be, prolactin hormone is going to be secreted from mammary glands of females. Prolactin hormone is going to be useful. It is going to be produced from mammary glands of females. Okay. And this prolactin hormone is very important in stimulation, activation of breast after the childbirth. Okay. That we can call ejaculation of milk flow. So after the formation of baby, this prolactin hormone will be secreted, and that prolactin hormone, they useful to stimulate the breast. So within the breast they have mammary glands. Okay. So these mammary glands will be activated, and after the activation of mammary glands, milk will be ejected. So that milk will come to outside, and that milk will be taken by the baby. So ejaculation of milk by the activation of mammary glands of the breast of the female or mother is done by the prolactin hormone. Okay, it is very, very important. Okay. Next one is oxytocin. So oxytocin is a specific hormone which is going to be produced from uterus of females. Actually, this oxytocin is going to be produced from kidneys. Oxytocin hormone is going to be secreted from kidneys and uterus of females. Okay. So this oxytocin is useful to expansion of uterus during childbirth. So as of we have studied in reproduction chapter. Okay. So during during the baby delivery, the uterus size has to be expanded. The uterine walls size has to be expanded. So that expansion or increasing the size of the uterus is only because of oxytocin hormone. Okay. If the size of the uterus will be increased like this, then the baby is pushing to outside to lead to the normal delivery. Suppose if a proper oxytocin hormone is not secreted properly in pregnant lady, then that leads to there is no expansion of uterus. If there is no expansion of uterus, there is no proper releasing of baby to outside. Then doctors, they can do surgery and they can release, they can take the baby to outside. Okay, so that is the difference. So that's what oxytocin is very important in expansion of uterus during childbirth. So only during expansion of uterus the baby is released to outside. It can push to outside. Okay, so this is about oxytocin hormone. Okay, and the next hormone we are going to see here is called luteinizing hormone. Simply we can call LH, luteinizing hormone. Okay. So luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. So these two are very, very important. So follicle stimulating hormone we can call FSH. So luteinizing hormone is represented by LH. Follicle stimulating hormone is represented by FSH. Okay. So luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. So these two hormones, they act on both testes and ovaries. That means these two hormones are secreted in males as well as in females. Okay. So luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone, these two are secreted in both males and females, and their function of these hormones is luteinizing hormone, they act on testes of males and they act on ovaries. At the same time, follicle stimulating hormone, they act on ovaries of females. Okay. And the main function of these two hormones is, these two hormones, they controls reproductive functioning and sexual characters. Okay. So we can say different types of sexual characters after the adolescence period. So these sexual characters are being controlled. The sexual characters control our sexual characters formation, transmission is done by this luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. So that one function. Next one is they also activates ovaries to produce estrogen and progesterone hormones in females. So ovary, already we have discussed earlier, ovary they used to secrete estrogen and progesterone hormones. Okay. So the secretion, active secretion of this estrogen and progesterone is being influenced by follicle stimulating hormone in females. Okay. So luteinizing hormone is secreted in both males and females. They are going to be useful to activate testes and ova, whereas follicle stimulating hormone is secreted only in females, which is going to be useful to stimulate ovaries to produce active secretion of estrogen and progesterone hormones, which are very, very important. Okay, that is about hormone. Next one is vasopressin, very, very important. So this vasopressin is going to be secreted by kidneys. Vasopressin hormone is going to be secreted by kidneys. Okay, and this vasopressin hormone, it is useful to regulate the amount of urine excretion. Okay, so as of you know, when we are going to study about human excretory system, so large quantity of urine is deposited within the urinary bladder. Okay, when the urinary bladder is completely filled, little amount of urine is released outside through a small hole-like structure is called urethra. Okay, when the urinary general phenomenon is when the urinary bladder is completely filled with the urine, little quantity of urine is released outside by a small hole-like structure is called urethra. Okay, so here you can see here when the urinary bladder is completely filled with the urine. Okay, so urinary bladder does not allow all the releasing of all the urine to outside. Okay, why? Because from the urine the useful components will be present like proteins, amino acids, glucose, like salts, all these ones. So to absorb the useful components from the urine, this vasopressin is very, very important. Okay, so vasopressin, it does not allow to release all the urine to outside. It regulates the amount of urine excretion to outside. Okay, so little bit slowly the amount of urine is released to outside, that is being controlled by this vasopressin hormone. Okay, why it is very important? Because to reabsorb the useful components from the urine, to absorb the useful components of urine, it is very essential to stop in urinary bladder. Okay, so the useful components of urine like glucose, amino acids, proteins, vitamins, salts, all this has been reabsorbed. So because of that reabsorption only, we are not getting any dehydration. Okay, that's what vasopressin is very important in reabsorption of useful components, and it regulates the amount of urine excretion outside. Okay, next one is other hormone we are going to see here is called the other hormones. Yes, very important, is called pancreas. Pancreas. Okay, so as of you know, pancreas is one of the one and only mixed gland of our body is called pancreas. So the one and only mixed gland of our body is called pancreas. Okay, so pancreas, it is located near to the liver. Okay, why it is called mixed gland of the body? Because it acts both endocrine as well as exocrine gland. It acts both endocrine and exocrine. That's what is called mixed gland of the body. Okay, so the one and only mixed gland of our body. So it is very important in it concern. The one and only mixed gland of our body is called pancreas. Okay, and this pancreas is present near to the liver. Here you can see here. So so here we have the liver here. These are the lungs here, and this is the liver here. So just near to the liver here we have pancreas. Okay, that is the location of the pancreas. Okay, next we can see importance of pancreas. So pancreas, it is useful to secrete pancreatic juice. Okay, so this pancreatic juice, it consists of very two important hormones, that is called insulin and glucagon hormones. These are the two hormones secreted by pancreas, insulin and glucagon hormones. Okay, first of all you can see insulin hormone, So the main function of insulin, so actually insulin is secreted mainly from beta cells of islets of Langerhans cells. Langerhans cells of pancreas. Okay, these are specialized cells present in pancreas. Okay, beta cells of islets of Langerhans cells are the specialized cells present in pancreas. Okay, so that specialized cells, they used to secrete insulin hormone. Okay, so the main function of insulin hormone is it regulates, it controls or regulates blood glucose level. It regulates blood glucose level. Okay, it regulates blood glucose level. Okay, so if insulin hormone is secreted properly, automatically blood glucose level is under our control. It should be controlled by insulin. Okay, so if blood glucose, if insulin hormone is not secreted properly or low level secretion of insulin hormone, automatically blood glucose level is going to be increased. If insulin is not secreted properly, insulin secretion is low. Okay, so arrow mark like this indication that low level. So that can causes increasing of blood glucose level. Increasing of blood glucose level. Okay, so this condition we can call as diabetes mellitus. This condition we can call diabetes mellitus. Okay, so diabetes mellitus is only caused because of improper secretion of insulin hormone. Okay, that condition we can call diabetes mellitus. Okay, so those the people who are suffering from diabetes condition, simply we can local terminology you can call sugar disease. So local terminology you can call sugar, but in medical terminology it is called diabetes mellitus. Okay, so diabetes mellitus is caused because of improper secretion of insulin hormone. Okay, so the people who are suffering from diabetes mellitus, they are taking artificial insulin which is prepared from horses, pigs, cattle, from all these ones they used to prepare artificial insulin. So they are taking in the form of IV injection. Okay, so that is the insulin hormone. Next hormone is called glucagon hormone. Glucagon. Okay, so glucagon hormone is also secreted by pancreas. Okay, so glucagon hormone is useful in carbohydrate metabolism. Carbohydrate metabolism. Okay, and this glucagon hormone is very useful in conversion of excess form of glucose in the form of glycogen in liver into glucose. Okay, so when we are fasting or starvation condition, so we don't have energy in our body, so we don't have glucose in our body. Suppose if why, because if we can take only rice, we can get the glucose. If we can't take rice as the food material, we can't get the glucose. So at this time, when we are in starvation or fasting condition for 3 or 4 days like that, in our body the excess glucose is stored in the form of glycogen. So this glycogen will convert into glucose. That conversion of excess form of glycogen in liver into glucose is done by glucagon hormone. Okay, so these two are quite opposite. So insulin hormone, it regulates blood glucose level. That means glucose level is under control. Whereas glucagon is useful to produce glucose from glycogen. Okay, here glucose is being controlled by insulin. Here glucose has been produced by glucagon hormone. So that is the importance of two hormones which are going to be secreted by pancreas. Okay, so we are going to see the next hormones and hormones in the plants in next class. Okay, so thank you for attending class. Thank you.